With just 5 days to the election, both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are trying to reel in voters in swing states.
We're checking in at phone banks in LA for both candidates. See It Live starts right now.
Time is running out for both candidates to mobilize voters in battleground states. Good evening, I'm Tommy Brooksbank.
And I'm Tiffany Brevard. Volunteers are making a final push at phone banks to sway voters. Annenberg Media's Brad Stryker is live in South Los Angeles at one of Hillary Clinton's phone banks. Brad?
All right, and we are in the final stretch of the election season, and the Hillary Clinton campaign is hard at work, placing phone calls from the phone bank that I'm standing inside of tonight. Specifically, I am at the Los Angeles, it's the Civic Center here in South Central Los Angeles, where they just opened the doors a few minutes ago, so already there are a few volunteers making their way inside, hoping for more a little bit later on tonight. However, across the country, almost 100,000 different people volunteering to place those calls for Hillary Clinton in support of their candidate. 3 main phone bank headquarters, all located here in Los Angeles, though. We have headquarters in Santa Monica, Pasadena, as well as Westchester. Now, I am joined tonight by one of the volunteers placing phone calls here. This is Eloise Evans. So Eloise, thank you so much for coming on, speaking with me tonight.
It's my pleasure.
Perfect. So talk to me a little bit about what you guys are doing here tonight and why exactly you think it's so important.
Well, number one, we must and we have to, and Hillary, to get Hillary in. And the best way to do that is to come out and voice it and solicit individuals to come out and do phone banking and get individuals out to the polls.
And I was speaking with you a little bit earlier. You mentioned that you have been doing this for a number of years now. Tell me how long you've been coming out and doing phone calls, as well as why you think it is so important.
Well, this is really ironic. I was just standing here looking, getting Hillary in. I started here in California when Bill Clinton started. He started his campaign here, and I was one of the community activists. And so it's like history is repeating itself, and I'm right in the family keeping this going. So he made it. We worked for him and got him in, and she's going to make it because we have some of the same people that are older, more seasoned. So we are all the way for victory for her.
And tell me what the specific goals are tonight. Who exactly are you guys targeting with the phone calls? Who exactly are we reaching out to?
Okay, what we're targeting tonight, our particular assignment has been to get in touch with other volunteers, individuals that have volunteered in the past for these last 5 days that are left, to get a commitment from these volunteers to come out and get individuals out in the community to vote. That's what the goal is. Vote now. G-O-T. Get out and vote.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate the time that you spent with us. Like I said, the campaign, the call bank right here opened up just a few moments ago. They are planning on going, though, until 8:15 tonight, so lots more calls to be made, hoping that a couple more volunteers are showing up. But for now, live in Los Angeles for Annenberg Media, I'm Brad Stryker.
Thank you so much, Brad. Donald Trump volunteers are also working hard to get votes.
We're joined by Annenberg Media's Jake Ingracia, who spent some time at the Trump phone bank in Santa Monica. Jake, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Tommy. Here in the blue state of California, the Trump race won't matter much, but those tight battleground states are crucial to the election, and volunteers for the Trump campaign are in full swing trying to drum up support right here from Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Linda, and I'm calling from the Donald Trump campaign. Are you going to vote on November 8th?
It's the only Trump calling center in LA County.
You know, this is the biggest election of our lifetime.
And with just days until Election Day, these Trump volunteers are making their final push to get out the vote.
I urge you to vote for Donald Trump and tell others to do the same.
Based out of this rented headquarters in Santa Monica, the Santa Monica Republican Women Federated runs the operation.
Every election year, we open up a campaign office where volunteers can come in.
The group hosting a debate viewing party for the final presidential debate at their Santa Monica office.
We're all for Trump. We've done phone banks, they're volunteers.
And in just the past few weeks, they've made more than 30,000 calls.
People are coming from all over to Santa Monica to make calls for Mr. Trump.
They say their volunteer base is not only energized, but racially diverse.
It's not just a white, older male that is voting for him. We've had a lot of women that have come, and a lot of college-educated women, too.
We've had African American volunteers, Asian volunteers.
We've also had some Muslims that were here. We also had some Hispanics that were here.
The volunteers calling out of California, targeting Republicans in swing states, hoping to sway support in Trump's favor.
I think what you need to ask yourself is, would you rather have someone who says something crude or stupid once in a while, or would you rather have someone who's 100% corrupt 100% of the time?
Do you know that when you vote for Hillary, you're actually going to be having a lot of corruption in Washington?
I asked some of these women for Trump about his comments toward women, like in those leaked Access Hollywood tapes.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
Were you offended by his comments?
Not at all. I just brushed it off. I don't think that Trump's comments affect me as a woman. I don't feel degraded. They don't lessen the respect I get at work.
I find it offensive that our past president decided to have sex under his desk in the Oval Office, and that's not considered offensive by his wife. Talk is just talk. It's not actions.
And the headquarters manager, Marcella Sutton, said those comments too offensive for her to even watch.
Personally, I don't like junk like that. I don't like foul-mouthed people. So if I don't need to watch something, I don't. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Their support unwavering, and they hope these final efforts can make a difference.
Somebody might remember that a Trump volunteer was polite and professional and might decide to give Mr. Trump a second look.
Now, those women told me the FBI's latest probe into Hillary Clinton's emails is energizing volunteers as we're just days away from the election. The poll's tighter than ever, and in the coming days, those volunteers will be doing everything they can to tip those critical swing states in Donald Trump's favor.
Yeah, Jake, it sounds like those volunteers are really united behind their candidate. What was the experience like just hanging out with them the entire day and being there?
It was really, really interesting to see these callers making these phone calls out to swing states. They're calling places like Nevada, Arizona, Ohio, North Carolina, hoping to drum up support for Donald Trump, like I said, and, you know, tip those swing states in their favor. Like I said, also, they're really just trying to, you know, get the support out and, you know, make a great cause.
And you also mentioned that they have already made 30,000 calls. Now, on average, how many calls do they make a day?
You know, I don't have that exact statistic, but they're really trying to reach that benchmark stat of 40,000 calls. In just a couple weeks, they've made 30,000 already, on their way already.
And as you were there the entire day, did it feel like there was a sense of community with everyone? Were people really talking with each other, or were they just really focused on, you know, calling people and making sure we get Donald Trump elected?
Yeah, these Trump supporters are really coming together as a group, enjoying each other's company. You saw there at the debate, they were enjoying each other's company with food, wine. So it is a community built around Donald Trump.
All right. Well, thanks, Jake, for coming in. More than 30% of undergraduate students at USC are from out of state. Annenberg Media's Iris Lee talked with a few who say they've experienced barriers when they were registering to vote and casting their ballots.
The only difficult thing was that I did have to get it notarized. And I went and got it notarized at the USC Credit Union. They didn't know what to do at first. They're like, oh, I don't know if we can actually do this. But they did, so I dropped it off in the mailbox, and hopefully everything works out.
Even for those who take the time to register, there can be some challenges.
The hardest part for me was I didn't know if my application for an absentee ballot had been sent in correctly, because I mailed it in and then I just had to wait for my ballot to get to me. So I was just kind of waiting, am I going to get my ballot?
Experts say because every state has a different voting policy, it's really hard for young and transient voters to keep up with their registration. However, one civic engagement researcher thinks it's time to think of new ways to vote.
It's not on the internet in a way where you can really hack it, so it's a pretty secure system. It works well for what it is. The problem with that is that for most people, and I would say especially young people, we're so used to doing everything online or on our smartphones. It's kind of a pain to go to a voting place. It doesn't make sense with kind of the patterns that we're used to in terms of how we engage with everything else in our lives.
There's a form that I saw, and I was like,
Yeah, I'll just go study for math.
A Pew research shows that today's youth are more engaged compared to their counterparts in previous generations. But will that translate into votes? We will have to wait till election night. For Annenberg Media, I'm Iris Lee.
And USC students who are registered to vote have the option of voting early in California or sending in their absentee ballots if they're from out of state. We talked with several USC students today who have already voted.
I'm from Ohio, so I'm from a swing state, but I'm waiting for my absentee ballot to get here, and I'm hoping it gets here on time.
It was my first time voting, so I didn't really know how to do it, so people were walking around campus and they said, "Do you want to vote?" And I said, "Yeah," and then I signed up and I got something in the mail and I filled it out and sent it in.
I'm voting via an absentee ballot because I'm from New York, so I'm sending that in either today or tomorrow.
I am planning on voting, and I haven't turned in my ballot, but I'm planning on doing that today or tomorrow.
Again, with just 5 days to the election, both Clinton and Trump's campaigns aren't showing signs of slowing down. The trial on Donald Trump's no longer existing for-profit real estate school, Trump University, is set to begin November 28th in San Diego. CNN reports the former university faces 3 civil lawsuits. CNN interviewed former Trump real estate instructor James Harris, who discussed his job convincing people to sign up for real estate seminars that were much more costly, adding up to tens of thousands of dollars. Meantime, President Obama had something to say about Clinton's email investigation during his speech yesterday in Chapel Hill. Obama criticized FBI Director James B. Comey's investigation on Clinton's private server, saying, "We do not operate on incomplete information." The election is quickly approaching, and there is already some talk about a possible push for impeachment if Clinton is elected for president. A few Republican congressmen, as well as Donald Trump, say this country faces a constitutional crisis if Clinton wins, and that, they say, could lead to criminal investigations and a potential trial. There have been plenty of changes in the news with these two candidates, including the polls. Now, Tommy, what can you tell us about the most recent polls?
Well, tonight, several presidential polls show the race is tightening between the two candidates. The New York Times had a poll out today that showed Hillary Clinton is up by 3 points, but however, they still have her with an 86% chance of winning the election. It wasn't all bad news for the Donald Trump campaign today, however. The Rasmussen Reports poll shows Trump is up 3 percentage points nationally, and the LA Times USC tracking poll found him 5 points ahead. As you can see, the LA Times has had Trump up throughout the election cycle for the majority of the time. Also, these close polls have been shaking up the Electoral College map predictions. This map from 538 really shows how close it is. Several states that were in Clinton's territory a week ago before before her email server reinvestigation was opened by the FBI, that's changed things. States like Colorado, she had more of a lead there. Trump has come back and has a 25% chance of winning the state now. States like Nevada are getting even closer, where Hillary only has a 51% lead. The race is really narrowing across the board. However, even with Trump making gains, Hillary Clinton still has a 67% chance of winning the election, according to 538. So things are still looking up for Hillary Clinton, but it's definitely getting closer due to the investigation opening up. And this is spilling over to the Senate as well. Democrats right now have the advantage in the Senate because there's more Republican seats that have been up for office this election season. Right now there's more. They have an advantage over the Republicans, and they have a 63% chance of winning getting back the majority in the Senate. Now, many analysts say the slight difference in the polls show a tight race between Clinton and Trump. It's all going to come down to voter turnout on Election Day.
Regardless of what numbers the polls show, Clinton and Trump are still hitting the campaign trail for their last few opportunities to sway voters. Clinton's traveling to rallies in both Pittsburgh and Detroit tomorrow before taking the day off on Saturday. Her last official campaign stop will be in Cleveland on Sunday. Trump is doing 3 rallies tomorrow in Atkinson, New Hampshire, Wilmington, Ohio, and Hershey, Pennsylvania. He'll be traveling to Wilmington, North Carolina on Saturday before a day off on Sunday. Trump's last two rallies will be Monday in Raleigh, North Carolina and Manchester, New Hampshire. Both Trump and Clinton will be spending Election Day in New York City, about 20 blocks from each other.
Well, it looks like there's a lot of updates in the final days before the election. Have you had the chance to vote yet, Tiffany?
You know what? There's just something unique about going to the actual day, actual election day. I know a lot of people have been doing the early votes, the absentee ballots, sending them in, but I just think it's really special to do it the day of.
You know, I wish I had that opportunity. Unfortunately, I'm from out of state, so I have to send in my absentee ballot. I just got it last night, so I got to make sure I get that in the mail pretty soon. But looking forward to the election, and voting for the first time is really going to be something special too, I think. Well, thank you for watching See It Live. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Tommy Brooksbank.
And I'm Tiffany Brevard. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Have a great weekend.